Okay, so in our last lesson then, we just briefly touched on how you would use your hand using the palming method to change gear. So, and I believe we ended up by saying the next lesson we'd start off, first off with looking how we change gear and then looking at how we actually steer the car. So with actually changing the gear, clearly you're only going to use your left hand. We spoke about using the palming method to change gear. So to do that, basically you have to remember first off that the gear lever always goes back to the same position. So in the neutral position it always goes back to between third and fourth into that central position there. Okay, so when you want to go into first gear, and we will talk about the pedals in a minute, but when you want to go into first gear, if you use your left hand, palm to me, pressure to me, tuck your fingers in a little bit because when you go forward you'll smash your fingers on there. So you push it across to hit the invisible wall as we said before, then you slide it up the wall. Good. So now that's gone into first gear quite nicely, and we know that because it slid up the wall into first. Then when you want to go back into second gear, it's again palm to me, pressure to me. So you've got to beat the pressure of the spring. So then slide it straight through neutral. Good. And then going into second gear. So it's important that you keep that pressure on as you slide it through neutral into second gear. Because what can happen, and that will happen sometimes if people don't quite know what they're doing, some people sort of hold it on top like a spade, some people don't actually keep the pressure on, some people put their fingers behind like that, and some people even turn their hand the other way and put it back. That's the worst thing you can possibly do, put your hand that way. So if I put my hand that way without any pressure on it to pull it to the left, watch what actually happens. So I go down and down. So which gear has it gone into?
Fourth.
Yeah. So that would be a particularly bad thing to do when pulling away, obviously, from the side of a road, because as you've pulled away, you've pulled into the middle of the road, and then you've gone straight into fourth gear, and the car, most cars won't actually handle going first to fourth gear. When you lift the clutch up, it will probably stall the car. And stalling in the middle of the road is not a good and comfortable place to actually stall. So keeping that pressure on between first and second gear is a nice way to actually get it into second gear without any problems. So then when we want to go into third gear, what you do is your left hand behind the gear lever to the side, okay, and then just gently cup it, but don't hold it on top like a spade. Remember that its natural position is to actually come over, so you can use the neutral position to actually help you. So if you just gently nudge it forward and nudge it forward, it just goes straight into third gear. However, if you held it on top like a spade, then not allowing that gate to work, what gear have I gone into there, do you think?
First.
Yeah. So that's because I didn't allow the actual gate to help me. Likewise, people can put their foot on it, their hand on it, and use the gate in the incorrect way by going like that. Which gear have I gone into now, do you think?
Is that third?
That's going to fifth, yeah. So I didn't allow the actual gate to help me. So again, if you put your hand behind it, and then just gently cup it, nudge, nudge, and it just goes straight in. Some people put their hand behind it like that. So if you put your hand behind it like that, so put your hand, and then push it forward. Again, maybe that won't actually help sometimes, and you can actually just push it too quickly and it will go into first. Good. So then, when we want to go into fourth gear, it's just a straight movement back. So if you put your hand behind the gear lever, straight back. Good. And then when you want to go fourth to fifth, it's using that invisible wall on the right hand side now. So palm behind like we did second to third, up one click, over to you, hit the invisible wall and up. Good. So in this particular car, reverse gear is right behind fifth gear. And there is no safety measure to stop you going into fifth gear. Some cars will actually have a lever or a trigger behind or something that you pull up. This car doesn't. And on occasions my pupils have tried to put it into reverse gear by mistake when they've tried to put it into fourth gear, and that's quite exciting. So we don't particularly want to hear that because it does grind the gears somewhat.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to get it into reverse gear because at that point you're probably doing 50 miles an hour, but likewise you don't really want to be doing that. So again, you can use the gate to actually help you, and that's just a matter of flick flick with the gear lever. So put your hand behind it and then just a gentle nudge nudge, and then it comes back in. Okay, just a quick, try that again, just a quick nudge nudge, just come straight back in.
Yep.
Just nudge nudge, straight back in. Okay, and then when you want to go fourth to third, hand behind, straight up. Good. And then third to second is a tricky one, and it's down, palm to me, pressure to me, and down, palm to me, pressure to me, down. And then second to third to first is palm to me, pressure to me, straight up. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to put it back into neutral. So put it back into neutral and tell me how you know it's in neutral.
So you can feel the springs either side.
Well done. Good. Okay. So coming down from gears, fifth to fourth to third to second to first, you can do it, but there's no real need to actually do it that way. Block gear changing is a far more efficient, better way of actually doing it, and a little more eco-friendly as well. So what you can do is actually put it into, let's say you're driving down the road at 50 miles an hour in fifth gear, and you're coming to the end of a road or a roundabout or a junction of some sort. What you can do is miss out gears.
Yeah.
So you can go fifth to third to first. So let's just try that, remembering that the neutral position will help you.
Yeah.
So all you want to do is flick it down and then flick it straight back up again. So remembering, so if you get your hand behind it, gentle movement, so click it down and straight back up. It's gone straight into third,
Yeah.
because you allowed it to come over to its natural position. And then when you want to go third to first, so it's down, palm to me, pressure to me, and up. Good. Okay, and you could also be coming down the road. Let's say you have gone, you're coming up, you're in fifth gear now, and you're coming up to, let's say, a roundabout. You can see it 800 meters away, and you're starting to slow down. So let's go fifth to fourth gear, just a gentle nudge nudge back like we did before. Nudge nudge, and you're in fourth gear. So you're braking now, gentle braking, 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 and you're going to come on straight from fourth into second gear. So braking, braking, and then so it's up, over, down. So up, palm to me, pressure to me, and down. Gentle clutch, back up again. So in second gear is a fantastic gear for doing junctions and roundabouts, approaching roundabouts and things like that.
Yeah.
You've got lots of engine braking in second gear. So when you're approaching a roundabout or a junction, the clutch is up, you've got lots of engine braking helping you slow the car down. But also you've got lots of power. So if you can see at the roundabout, let's say you're doing early observations, you've seen it's safe and clear to go, you can go straight back on the gas again just to get out at a reasonable pace.
Yep.
Okay. If you try to do it in third gear in most cars in a roundabout, it wouldn't like it. The car would start shaking around, and the car would be telling you, I don't like this, I want to go into a lower gear. Okay, so the car does talk to you, you just have to know its language, really.
Yeah.
So if the car's sort of shaking around, then you're going to know it's in the wrong gear and it wants to come back into a lower gear.
Yep.
Okay, good. So the time to change gears is another crucial matter. On a flat road, the first gear has lots of power but no real speed.
Yep.
So it's only good up to around about 10 to 15 miles an hour. And then you will need to go into second gear. Then second gear is good up to around about 25 miles an hour. Then you will need to go into third gear. Again, that's going to be good up to 35 miles an hour into fourth, up to around about 45 miles an hour into fifth. Dependent on roads and road conditions and the different hills that you may be trying to get up.
Yeah.
Because what you will need is more momentum when you're trying to go up a hill. So with me saying sort of change gear first to second at 10 miles an hour, well, that won't work if you're going up a 20% hill.
No, yeah.
Because when you try to change gear into second on a 20% hill, the car would just go and it just wouldn't like it. Okay, so you're going to need to take that probably out to 15, 18 miles an hour before you change into second gear.
Yep.
And then probably up to 25, almost to 30 in third gear, dependent on the severity of the hill that you're using. Another way of doing it is actually on the revs. The rev counter that you see there on the left hand side. Usually you won't really want to go over about 2,000 revs.
Yeah.
So 2,000 revs will be just around about the right time to actually change the gears. Okay? So any questions on the actual gear lever itself? What we haven't done is the reverse gear.
Yeah.
So if you put your hand on the left of the gear lever and push it way over to you and slide it down. Okay, so all the forward gears have what they call a synchro mesh in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that allows you to smoothly change gear. However, the reverse gear has no synchro mesh. It's basically straight cut gears that will just lock into place. So if your clutch, let's say, is slightly up when you're trying to get into reverse gear, you may well hear a sort of noise as all the teeth are sort of hitting each other trying to get in, because it has no synchro. So it's basically make sure the clutch is down, leave it for 1 or 2 seconds, then put it into reverse gear.
Okay.
Okay? Good. Okay, so we'll talk about the pedals now. Okay, so let's talk about the pedals and when to push them down and things like that. So when you want to put it into gear first off when you're pulling away, what you need to obviously do is push the clutch pedal down. So with your left foot only, the heel of your left foot should be below the actual clutch pedal, so let's do that. And using the ball of your foot, press the clutch pedal all the way to the floor. So when you're pressing the clutch pedal down, it's normally quite a quick movement to come all the way down. And then when you want to bring the clutch back up, that's normally quite a slow movement. So if you think to yourself, up with the clutch, 1, 2, 3, that's the sort of speed you want to be bringing the clutch up at. Up with the clutch, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the last probably 2 centimeters of the clutch coming up is the most important part. It's where the clutch actually starts to bite on the actual engine flywheel and needs to adjust to the engine speed. So the slower you bring it up that last 2 centimeters, the smoother the gear change will actually be. Okay, so bring the clutch up reasonably quickly the first half, and then slowly up the rest of it. Okay, good. So when you're actually driving on the road, obviously your right foot will be on the gas pedal, so put your right foot on the gas pedal and press it down slightly. Good. And then when you want to change gear, you obviously know you want to change gear, so your left foot goes over and covers the clutch pedal. So when you want to change gear, it will be off the gas, clutch down quickly. So off the gas, clutch down quickly, then it's into gear, whichever gear you want, and then it's slow clutch up, on with the gas. So slow clutch up, back on the gas. And the smoother you can get it, the smoother the gear changes will actually be. Okay, so the faster you come up with the clutch, the more the car could actually jerk and move around, particularly in that last sort of 2 centimeters. The more powerful the car, the more jerky it can actually be as well. So let's try that again. We know we want to change gear. We've got the gas on at the moment, so you cover the clutch pedal, and then we come off the gas, clutch down quickly, change gear, slow clutch up, 1, 2, 3, on with the gas. Okay? Good, well done. So we're going to try that going down the road, and we'll see where we go and see if we have to alter or adjust anything from there. Any questions on the pedals at all?
No.
Fantastic, well done.